In 2015, we first showed these brutal scenes from the Argentinian blood farm operated by Syntex. Here, blood is taken from pregnant mares for the production of the hormone PMSG. Since our publication, only one pharmaceutical company has stopped their imports. That the use of PMSG in Europe is also partly responsible for cruel production of piglets is mentioned by none of the companies. In 2016 and 2017, we returned to South America. We wanted to know if our criticism of this tortuous production has galvanized those responsible into action. We meet the veterinarian Eduardo Mercado, who worked on Uruguayan and Argentinian blood farms in the early 80s. We would like to know from him if, even back then, foals were aborted.
Today I see it as a mistake not to have checked on the pastures what was going on, but we had a lot of work.
We know based on our investigations that nowadays 10 litres of blood are taken from the mares once or twice a week. What is your opinion as a veterinarian?
This is excessive. It compromises the welfare and the immune system of the mares. In those days, the horses in Uruguay received very good feed for this reason.
He regrets his actions.
At the time I was still young, today I see it differently. I think we made mistakes in the past which I would not repeat today.
We drive to the blood farm of Dr. Fernando Perdigon. He is a university professor and a multi-million-dollar blood farmer. The blood season is almost over. He told us in 2015 that in Uruguay there are more than 10,000 blood mares. For him it is normal that mares and foals die as a consequence of the blood collection. He says that in the slaughterhouse, pregnant cows are killed every day. From a distance, we observe workers moving mares into the blood extraction stable, chaotically and frantically gesticulating. This frightens the horses. We secretly filmed the restraint boxes on a different day. In these, the mares are tied down to insert the bleeding cannula. We observe a lot of weakened mares. Near the blood farm, on roads and along the edge of forests, their condition is miserable. Open, untreated wounds, swollen, pus-filled legs, and mares that are limping in pain. The stallions too receive no medical care. We encounter woodworkers close to Perdigon's blood farm. We ask them if they noticed sick, injured or dead mares. Both tell us, independently of one another, that they frequently find dead horses here along the road. That right now 2 are lying near Perdigon's blood farm. They also say that they repeatedly find foal fetuses, a consequence of the abortions. On our search for evidence, we meet with a former employee of Perdigon. We ask him about work routines.
The blood extraction is done at night. I work there during the day. I know that the mares die, in heaps. One lies here, one lies there. That is because they take too much blood. Out of 100 mares, around 25 die, perhaps more, even 30%.
Those who don't die often suffer from deficiency diseases. Not even their hooves are cared for. Neglected hooves cause pain. Even stallions, who don't have to give blood, look bad, malnourished. On these pastures, only scrub is growing. We drive to the Estancia Don Alcides and encounter a truck driver with a horse trailer. We ask him if he knows if blood mares are kept here. The truck driver confirms that the foals are aborted. A lot of mares die here, as we can see in the forest on the basis of the number of bones. In Uruguay, there are 4 blood farms, with names as melodious as Las Marquesas of Dr. Perdigon, La Paloma of Roberto Mios, Loma Azul of the company Syntex Uruguay, and Biomega SA of blood farmer Martin Bocking. By chance we encounter one of his herds of blood mares who are moved to the blood farm located 40 kilometres away. Along the route there is an estancia. We ask the farmer what he knows about these mares.
These are the mares for the blood collection.
He further tells us about a place where mares are impregnated and examined for pregnancy and calls the place San Miguel.
If there are 500, I don't know, but I know that the man has a great number of mares. There, on this plot of land, there are likely to be 90, 100. These are all pine trees. All that is pines is one plot of land.
There we count the skulls of dead mares and extrapolate this number to the total surface area. At least 30 to 40 mares have died on this pasture. At a rough estimate, 30% of all mares. The number that we have already been told by Perdigon's former employee. We drive to San Miguel to verify the information supplied. From a distance, we covertly film a large number of mares. A black stallion attracts our attention. He is severely lame. In a raceway behind a wooden fence, we observe frightened, sometimes panicked mares being examined. Perhaps a pregnancy examination? Around this estancia are pastures. On one we find a seriously injured mare. She should have been euthanized immediately. The blood farm Biomega has received subsidies from the Uruguayan government and the South American commercial alliance Mercosur since 2013. The EU could, as an important trade partner, require better animal welfare standards from Mercosur, but so far they have not done so. Right next to the blood farm Biomega are pastures. On these we find seriously injured horses. They should receive emergency euthanasia. Instead, they are kept alive with unsuitable measures like disinfection spray so that their blood can still be drawn. We show the footage to German veterinarians for assessment. Their conclusion is clear. The horses have been severely injured for a long time. They confirm that they should have been euthanized long ago. Injured mares remain in the blood collection process. For the blood farmers, their blood is worth more than compassion. Also, from this brown mare, whose front leg is likely broken, blood continues to be drawn instead of euthanizing her. Not an isolated case, but normal. Whether this mare will survive the day is doubtful. Her blood is marketed as long as her heart beats. The workers of the blood farm Biomega are not trained. They push the horses wildly back and forth, waving their arms and sticks, and beat the horses, from all sides with long sticks, with short clubs, with whips. They stand higher than their heads, which frightens the sensitive flight animals. They are not used to humans. Towards the end of the season, after approximately 3.5 months of pregnancy, a cruel hand is set to the mares one more time. Their foals are aborted, manually, without anaesthesia. A former employee of the blood farm La Paloma explains the procedure to us. One moves their hand into the vagina, opens the cervix, which is very painful, and digitally punctures the amniotic sac. This induces an abortion. Whether the weakened mare survives or not becomes evident on the pasture, where she is left to fend for herself. After the intervention, a mare that looks traumatised walks out of the restraint box with her tail held high. Whether abortion or blood collection, a lot of mares are so weak that they don't even flee from the scene of the event. We see 7 mares on that day that have foals at foot. With them, the abortion seems to have failed. As weak as they are, they have to feed their foals as well. The approximately 200 mares of today's blood collection are standing tired on a barren pasture. They don't receive any of the special feed or minerals which are urgently necessary. Towards evening, they are moved away to make space for the next group on the next day. For more than 30 years, the blood business has been ongoing. Blood farmers have become millionaires at the cost of thousands of mares, often tortured to death, and their aborted foals. Tolerated and subsidised by the state and used profitably by European pharmaceutical companies.